in, everybody. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to the ship that is sailing rapidly into the future, the ship of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. The ship Big Pharma doesn't want you to know even exists, let alone that it is sailing forward quickly, growing rapidly, because everything that happens on this ship is based on pragmatic results. You know, how many times have you gone to a health food store, well-intentioned? How many times have you gone to even, a Walmart, well-intentioned, bought $50, $60, $70 worth of nutritional supplements and nothing happened? Well, you're not the only one. It's happened to hundreds of thousands, I would say tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people in this country. Last year we spent tens of billions of dollars on nutritional supplements and everybody's still sick. Well, how can this be? Dr. Glidden and Dr. Wallach spends all day telling people that medical nutrition is the root cause of all of life's problems, the root cause of the majority of chronic disease, and in order to get on the other side of chronic disease, in order to support and promote the structure and function of the human body in the face of chronic disease, what you need to do is nutrify your body, take your vitamins, take your minerals, take your essential fatty acids, take your amino acids. This is our whole deal. Well, Doc, I've been doing that. Well, you have, but you don't know what you don't know. And this is the problem. Because, yes, God is my witness, not all nutritional supplements are created equal. Not all bottles of wine are created equal. Not all bottles of beer are created equal. Not all bowls of chicken soup are created equal. What's the difference? Well, the recipe is the difference. If you're going to spend hard-earned money because your insurance won't pay for alternative quote-unquote medicine, your insurance won't pay for holistic medicine, your insurance won't pay for naturopathic medicine, your insurance won't pay for vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids, your insurance won't pay for nutritional supplements. And I want you to think long and hard about why on earth your insurance won't pay for that. Who's the boss here? Who's pulling these strings? Who died and left Big Pharma king? That's what I want to know. Who was that? Who put these knuckleheads in the driver's seat, and why can't we take them out? But, if you're going to pay hard-earned money for alternatives to drugs and surgery, well, that's a good choice that you're making. That's a step in the right direction. But you better spend that money wisely, or as P.T. Barnum would say, a fool and his money are soon parted. There's a sucker born every minute. Now, in my experience of nutritional supplement companies, it is the rare nutritional supplement company that is trying to pull the wool over somebody's eyes, and it is the average common pharmaceutical company that is trying to pull the wool over your eyes. That's what drug companies do. They'll spend $60 million on research. They'll do 50 research protocols to prove the efficacy of a brand new drug. 40 of those protocols will show negative results. 10 will show positive results, and they only publish the 10 that showed positive results, and that's perfectly legal. They cook the books all of the time. This is why there are over 30 drugs and medical devices which the FDA had approved as okay for your use that kill people and hurt people, and now there are class action lawsuits against them because they cook the books. Pharmaceutical companies sell snake oil. They cook the books. They lie outright about what their products do and don't do all of the time. But nutritional supplement companies are not. It's not my experience that nutritional supplement companies do this, but what nutritional supplement companies do is they manufacture stuff based on a peculiar methodology, and the peculiar methodology that 99.999% of all nutritional supplements are generated through is something called fractionated nutrition. It is the rare holistic physician. It is the rare licensed physician who actually prescribes vitamins and minerals and essential nutrients holistically. The vast majority of physicians who deal with vitamin therapy, nutritional supplement therapy, deal with nutritional supplement therapy the same way that they dealt with drugs. They're delivered through a reductionistic mentality. They're trying to force a biochemical pathway this way or that way. They're trying to force your liver to do one thing. They're trying to force your kidneys to do one thing. They're trying to force your hormonal system in one particular direction. And they're doing it with vitamins and minerals and nutritional supplements instead of with drugs. And you can make the argument that this is a better thing to do because the nutritional supplements don't have nearly the side effects that drugs do, and I couldn't agree more. That's accurate. However, when you apply nutritional supplements reductionistically, you completely miss the entire boat. I mean, you've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. So, Linus Pauling really was the guy that started this ball rolling. Linus Pauling nominated twice, or received the Nobel Prize twice. Linus Pauling did, not bad. But, Linus Pauling, being the PhD guy that he was reductionistic in his methodology. So Linus Pauling recommended massive amounts of vitamin C. I mean, the last 10 years of his life, Pauling was recommending 10, 12, 14, 15, 20 grams. That's 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C injected intravenously and at a shot. This is fractionated nutrition on steroids. That's a lot of vitamin C. Why did he do that? Because that's the way he thinks. See, scientists, PhDs, medical doctors are trained in a reductionistic philosophy, and regretfully, a lot of the naturopathic doctors that are in school right now are also trained in a reductionistic methodology, and it is a tragedy of biblical proportions. I mean, it's like watching, a Republican go to a Democratic school. It's like, what? That perhaps is a subject for another dissertation at another point in time when I have some guests on that we can talk about this with succinctly to really kind of underline this situation. It's a big situation here that's happening in the naturopathic community, folks. It's a big deal. I don't recommend anybody go to naturopathic school anymore because the education is leaning away from the holistic method. It's leaning away from the holistic method with the possible exception of one school in Portland, Oregon. More on that later. But my rant here is that the vast majority of healthcare practitioners who deal with vitamins prescribe vitamins reductionistically, right? You read about this all the time in the paper. Dr. Oz recommends vitamin D, lots of vitamin D, and then everybody rushes out and buys vitamin D. Dr. Oz recommends lots of vitamin C, and then everybody rushes out and buys vitamin C. The new miracle fat-burning vitamin, right? And everybody rushes out and buys lots of L-carnitine or whatever. Flavor of the month. Because these things are viewed through a reductionistic philosophy, the baby is thrown out with the bathwater, and if they work, I mean, if you take 20 grams of vitamin C into your body, something's going to happen. You're going to feel something. There will be a metabolic result of that. Now, whether it's good, bad, or ugly is only time will tell. My experience with that, and I used to do this, by the way, I know of which I speak, it produces ridiculous results. Ridiculous results. So, you've got most licensed healthcare practitioners who are into the holistic method, not really practicing holistic medicine. And nobody's talking about this except me. I wrote a whole book about this. There's a whole school of medical thought called integrative medicine where MDs and osteopaths and chiropractors and nurse practitioners can go back to school and learn holistic medicine. Well, they don't learn holistic medicine. They learn how to give massive amounts of single nutrients to patients without killing them, right? It's fractionated nutrition. What's better, and which is why nobody gets any results except Dr. Wallach and myself, I mean, relatively speaking, I will hold Dr. Wallach's therapeutics up against any other naturopathic physician's therapeutics in the world. because they produce more consistent results. I've done naturopathic medicine for 20 years. I know what I was taught. I know what Wallach preaches, and I know what works. And what Wallach preaches works better than what I was taught in medical school. And there's a reason, because it's quintessentially holistic. What do I mean by that? Well, holistic medicine argues that the body is a system of interrelated parts, that everything is connected. And all of the autonomic, metabolic processes that are happening in your body every second of every day, and there are trillions of them, are directed by an inborn intelligence in your body. Now, holistic physicians refer to this as the vital force, the vis medicatrix naturae, the inherent healing power of the human body. You ever wonder what keeps the whole thing rolling? I mean, what's the difference between someone who's alive and someone who's dead 1 second after they're dead? It's the same biochemistry. Well, why the heck are they dead? Because Elvis has left the building. The soul force, your soul has left the body. And when the soul leaves the body starts to disintegrate and decompose. Why? Because it was the intelligence of the soul, the energetic presence of the soul in the body that kept it all together. This is the inherent wisdom of the body given to the body by the presence of the soul force inside the body. The soul enters the body at the moment of conception and starts to direct the cells to divide and the genetic material to express. I mean, what is it that makes that happen? Is it just biochemistry? No. You can't, make Frankenstein by pouring a bunch of biochemicals into a corpse and then putting it on the roof and letting lightning hit it and animate it. That's not how it works. But reductionists don't know anything about this. They don't even talk about this. It's like a forbidden subject. Oh, it's too airy-fairy. That's too whooshy-squishy. That's too new age. Well, guess what? It's not new age. It's old age. It's common sense, for goodness sake. The human body is inhabited by a soul force. The soul force gives the body intelligence. The soul force makes everything happen. And when you support and promote the soul force, guess what? You get remarkable results. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopath. Number to call, of course, 866-582-9933. And I'll be going to the phone shortly. I just need to complete this thought. All right, 866-582-9933. So, the deal here, the fundamental position that we are supporting, that we advocate as holistic physicians, real holistic physicians, understand that the human body, number one, is a complex system of interrelated parts, of the action of which is directed by an unseen intelligence referred to the body, given to the body by the presence of the soul inside the body. It's called the vital force. The Chinese refer to it as the qi or the qi. A lot of different traditions have different names for all of this, but the reductionists amongst us, the MDs, have no name for it because they do not believe in its existence, because the MDs are taught a type of medicine called reductionism, right, which is based on Newtonian physics, which argues if it cannot be measured, it doesn't exist. And so if you can't measure the soul, it doesn't exist. So since nobody's ever measured the soul, it doesn't exist. Which means your medical doctor might be a very, religious person in his private life, but when he goes to work, he's an atheist. That's like being, a Democrat at home and a communist at work. And it's completely, there's a complete intellectual disconnect here, but nobody talks about it. So this is why when you go to the health food store and try to figure it out yourself, you don't figure it out yourself. And this is why when integrative medical doctors try to deliver vitamin therapies, they get piss-poor results because they're delivering them reductionistically, not holistically. So when you do it, and this again is one of life's greatest ironies, because when you do it holistically, it's easy. I mean, the delivery of holistic medical therapeutics is one of the easiest things in the world to do, because you don't have to figure it out. It's impossible for you to figure it out, which is why drugs create so many side effects, Because it's such a complicated system of millions of moving parts all of the time, and into that giant machinery, elegant, sophisticated machinery, you throw a man-made drug, it's going to screw something up. It has to. That's why drugs make so many side effects. Because you're messing with this sophisticated system of metabolic moving parts, which has an inherent wisdom, an inherent direction to it. It's moving in one direction, and you dump a drug into it, it upsets the apple cart and forces the body's hand one way and then creates side effects on the other. It has to happen. Drugs must create side effects. They all do. But again, nobody talks about this because we've been in the grips of reductionistic medical philosophy for over 100 years, so much so that medical doctors have bought their own, crock of crap. They believe it 100%, that their method is the right method. And even though they get unbelievably poor results, they keep pouring money into that hole. They keep going to that well to try to get water out, and even though they don't ever get water, they keep going to it because they're so pig-headed and cowardly. The fundamental thing that keeps modern American medicine afloat is cowardice. It is. It's cowardice. Medical doctors don't want to step outside of what they're comfortable doing, even though what they're doing hurts people and kills people and is completely ineffective in the treatment of chronic disease. I mean, they can manage asthma, but they can't cure it. They can manage type 2 diabetes, by the way, to their financial benefit, but they can't cure it. When you deliver holistic therapeutics holistically, you get remarkable results. And how do we do this? Well, we give the body everything that it needs and get the heck out of the way and let the body fix itself. This is why Dr. Wallach's Healthy Start Pack is so brilliant, because it provides your body with the fundamental, holistic 90 essential nutrients that it needs. It's not fractionated. We just don't give a boatload of vitamin C. We give your body everything that it needs in doses appropriate for its body weight and in formulas that your body can absorb. Dr. Wallach's liquid calcium is 95% absorbable. The calcium that you get at your health food store is 15% absorbable, more or less. In order to give your body enough calcium with the stuff you get over the counter at the health food store, you need practically a whole bottle a day. 30, 40, 50, 60 pills a day. Most people take 3. And that's why it doesn't work, because the formulas are juvenile and they're not delivered holistically. Well, guess what? When all else fails, rely on Dr. Wallach. When all else fails, rely on your body's wisdom. When all else fails, lean on the holistic method. Because the holistic method supports and promotes your body's ability to maintain and regulate its optimal structure and function. And that is the wise man's method. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. I am taking your calls when we come back. 866-582-9933. This is Fire Your MD Now. Looks like Cord is calling from Missouri. Hey, Cord, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you? Hey, happy Friday.
Thanks for answering that question earlier in the week, but I actually have a more important question here. It's actually with a friend that actually called me yesterday. He used to be a workmate. Me and him are pretty good friends, but when we were talking, he said his health ain't doing very good at all, so he kind of filled me in, and me and him used to work at a dog food plant, and he was there for like 6 or 7 years. And he was like an unloader, so he unloaded like the raw materials and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an interesting case, because I don't know if you've covered this type of situation before, but he doesn't have like a disease or nothing, but what's wrong with his lungs is he's been going to the doctor for like a year now. He doesn't work there anymore, but because of this, but he's been exposed to like really bad chemicals, and the type of chemical he's been exposed to is like alpha toxin and diacetyl. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
Yeah, aflatoxin. Yeah, aflatoxin's a big bad voodoo daddy. Yeah, I know all about aflatoxin. Yeah.
Well, I guess he's been exposed to it, probably about that many years over, small little amounts, and not wearing a mask or anything like that. But But what's really concerning is what he said when he's been going to the doctor and everything. They gave him inhalers and all types of drugs because he showed me them when I worked with him, about 6 months ago. But they said that his lungs are like 100% crippled or something like that. But to me, that sounds like if your lungs are 100% crippled, I don't think you'd really be alive or breathing at all. But
exactly correct, man. And this is just common sense, right? I mean, why do we let knuckleheads get away with telling us stuff like that? Oh, you have arthritis of the lungs. What? I actually had a patient call up a month ago. My doctor told me I had arthritis of the lungs. What? You can only have arthritis in the joint. What the heck does that mean? It doesn't mean anything, number one. And number two, you're right. If it's 100% bad, then that means his lungs don't work, and that means he can't breathe, and that means he's dead. One more reason to fire your MD now. All right, Cord, you've got my attention now. What else did they tell him?
Other than that, the reason I'm wanting to call you is that he has like I guess he's been talking to like world-class doctors and, whatever, up in Kansas City and whatnot, but he's actually scheduled for a lung transplant, so I was just want to call to see if this is one of those cases of point of no return,
Okay, well, number one, he's still alive, so there's hope. If you're above ground and still breathing, then there's hope, okay? Number two, the medical doctors, because of their philosophy of healing, reductionism, and because of their treatment strategies, and because of their clinical experience, they do not know anything other than drugs and surgery. So from their perspective, a lung transplant is his only option, right? It's his only option because they don't know anything other. They have no experience with anything else, and they should be ashamed of themselves because there's lots of literature. I mean, there's lots of research. There's lots of doctors doing this work, and they just pay no attention to it. They're like the ostrich that sticks its head in the sand. And it's bad, man. It's cowardly ridiculousness, and why we put these people up on pedestals is beyond me, honestly. So, there is a point of no return, right? I mean, there is. There is a point of no return beyond which it's impossible to support and promote the structure and function of that part of the body because it's gone by the boards. Now, neither you nor me, the only person that knows where that point of no return is God. You don't know it. I don't know it. The doctor certainly doesn't know it. And you can never unsurgery something, right?
Right.
So my recommendation for your friend would be give our program a try for 6 months. And here's why. Worst case scenario, nothing gets fixed. The lung tissue is beyond the body's, it's gone so far south that the body can't fix it. It's over. A lung transplant would benefit him, and hallelujah, and pass the hat, that's a good thing, right? That's the worst case scenario, right? He needs the lung transplant and the stuff won't work. But even if that's the case, surgery, especially a lung transplant, I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, you want to be horrified, do a Google search for lung transplant and look at the pictures. I mean, it is a major invasive surgical procedure, and then you've got to be on these anti-rejection drugs for the rest of your life. I mean, it is not an appendectomy. It's a big deal, man. So, if you were planning on going to the Antarctic, right? If you're going to take a trip to Antarctica, you would probably, it is my, I'm going to guess that being the smart man that you are, you wouldn't just go to Antarctica packing summer clothes and a bathing suit, right? If you're going to take a trip to Antarctica and hang out in minus 20 degrees weather for, 3 weeks, you're going to get the best survival suit, the best long underwear, the best wool socks, the best down-filled suit. I mean, you are going to, man up and load yourself up with stuff that you can survive in cold weather in, because that's just smart. Well, if you're going to have a major surgery, it would be prudent for at least 3 months before surgery to load your body up with nutrients and support and strengthen your body metabolically so that it is more able to handle the stress of the surgery. So, either way, this program is going to benefit your friend, because in the sad situation where his lungs are just too far gone and he waited too long to get in touch with us, or, he should have worn the mask and he didn't, then the therapy is going to help to strengthen his body so that he can handle the stress of the surgery, and that's never a bad thing. So my recommendation for him is follow our program for 6 months and look to see what happens. And if there's improvement, well, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it and see how far back the lungs come. They might come all the way back. I have no idea. They might come back 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%. Who knows? Nobody knows. That's my point. So I would advise him, this is not a life-threatening thing. He's above the ground. He's breathing. It's not 100%. They told him that to try to, brainwash him into just going forward with the lung transplant surgery, for goodness sake. So, what's his current body weight, Cord? Do you have any idea?
He's probably closer to the 200-pound mark.
All right. So for 6 months, my recommendation for him to support and promote the structure and function of his body and his respiratory tract is two anti-aging healthy start packs a month. 2 anti-aging healthy start packs a month. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. 1 bottle of EFA, Ultimate EFA at the 180 count. 1 bottle of Ultimate EFA at the 180 count. And as much Z-Radical as he can afford. 8 bottles a month would be a good place to start. If you can't afford that, do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I want him to be doing at least 1 bottle of Z-Radical a month. And he has to totally eliminate the 10 bad foods from his diet.
Right.
All right, good. Well, that's a good man. So, now, I got to tell you, most people that are in the weeds like this, and their body has been suffering, whether it's because of exposure to an environmental toxin and exogenous toxin like aflatoxin, or whether it's because they've just been eating all the wrong foods their whole life, or whether it's because their body has run out of the raw materials it needs to keep that part of their body healthy again, or whether it's a combination of all 3. It's usually a combination. It doesn't matter. What the deal is, when you're that much in the weeds physically, your body is nutritionally drained and sapped, and you're running on fumes, man. So most people like that, they're in such a bad state that when they finally get a clue and provide their body with fundamental foundation medical nutrition, they feel better. Something improves almost immediately within 2 weeks. 7 days, 14 days. Oh, my energy's better. Oh, my sleep's better. Oh, that ringing in the ears is gone. Oh, that little pain that I had is gone, or whatever. Something, undoubtedly, something noticeable and measurable in this man's experience of his body-mind will improve in the first 4 weeks. And that's the hallmark. That's what you want to tell him. Look, man, just do this stuff for 4 weeks and tell me if you feel any better. And if you do, then Dr. Glidden recommends you run with this for 6 months before you even consider surgery, and just see how it goes. See how it goes. You've got nothing to lose here, nothing to lose at all. So clean up his diet. Get him on board with those nutritional supplements. Tell him to look to see for something noticeable in the first 4 weeks. And once you secure positive change, then we're just going to run with that ball as long as is humanly possible. And that, my friend, definitely beats lung replacement surgery. For goodness sake, that is an extreme therapy, but leave it to the MDs to dream up something like that. I think I've spoken my piece here, Cord. Hey, listen, man, thanks for what you do, Cord. I've got a good sense about you down there in Missouri. If you keep this ball rolling forward the way that you're doing, talking about what we're up to your friends and family members, church members, community members, you're going to have a nice little thing going down there in Missouri, and you are going to help us dramatically to make a difference in people's lives, not only regarding their health, but also regarding your wealth and their wealth too if they want to get on board with the business opportunity here. And, we're building an army of sorts, right? An army, a coalition of the informed. Armies need to be paid. Armies need to be paid. Nobody's going to work for free. Longevity, if you become a member of Longevity, will pay you handsomely to help spread our message. Longevity's message, Dr. Wallach's message, which is the witnessed by me. I'm the second witness here, the second medical witness, and I'm proud of it. Will pay you handsomely to help spread the message of health recovery through medical nutrition to the sick and suffering amongst us. And who is sick and suffering amongst us? Who isn't? Throw a stick. Go to Walmart. Bounce a ping pong ball down the aisle. Whoever stoops over to pick it up, they need your help. It's the same in church. Everybody needs help in some degree. Most people, it's money. And, most people, it's health as well. Take your pick. Everybody has a vitamin M deficiency, and everybody is suffering with a chronic nutritional deficiency-driven disease. Everybody needs to get on the gluten-free train. Everybody needs to get on the Healthy Start train. Everybody needs to be taking Ultimate Selenium and add-ons as necessary. Cord, keep up the good work, man. I'm counting on you. You're doing a great job down there in Missouri. And hey, Mark, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I talked to you a couple of times about my mom with rheumatoid arthritis, and she's doing really good with it. She's been on the product for 9 months now. Nice. And today she called me up for the past 3 days, and since she started taking this stuff, she had no problems in her neck anymore, and relatively no pain in her hands, which was her worst problems. And for the past 3 days, she's had quite a bit of pain in her neck, and today she got up and her hands were in terrible pain again. And I'm wondering, is that the stuff working and taking apart the nodes or whatever and breaking up and things moving in there?
Well, it could be. This is a tricky situation, right? I mean, it could be a number of things going on here, but generally speaking, once we're on board with a protocol that's effective, which is supporting and promoting, in this case, the structure and function of her joints, then we anticipate, just a slow and steady slide into health. Now, every once in a while, the healing process becomes like a roller coaster, right? So there's improvement, then we hit a bump, and then we get over the bump, and then it's improvement, then we hit a bump, and then we get over the bump, and it's like that. So there's a lot of misconception in the world about this whole notion of healing crises and stuff. Generally speaking, they don't happen. When they do happen, they're of a different ilk, and I should probably do a show about that, right, to kind of help people understand this. But the first thing that I would think is going on here, Mark, is that she ate something that she shouldn't have, like she slipped up on her diet, or...
Yeah, that's definitely not a possibility.
It's not a possibility?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right. So the next thing we think about is that she slipped up with the supplement program, like, she knocked it down from 2 ounces of the calcium to 1 ounce of calcium a day, or she cut back the glucogel, or she ran out of something. Did any of that stuff happen? Do you have any idea?
Actually, she's 112 pounds, and she was taking 120-pound dose of the glucogel, and she cut it back 2 pills a day for the past couple of weeks. So it's not that much of a cutback.
Well, that's what did it then. I mean, that's the first thing to consider here, because and I know that doesn't sound like cutting it back much, but the body's funny, man, especially in petite women. Women's bodies, and I don't know why, but it's my experience and the experience of every other holistic physician in the world, that women's bodies are more sensitive to holistic therapeutics and even to drugs. I mean, women's bodies just are more sensitive to everything. So, how old is she?
72.
All right, so in a 72-year-old woman who's a little over 100 pounds, missing 2 glucogel a day could be potentially a big deal. And also, there's a saying in medicine that when you hear hoofbeats, when you see symptoms, you think about the most common things that cause them rather than thinking about weird stuff. And so when medical nutrition fails, right, most of the time the failure is because we're not taking enough or we're not absorbing what we're taking. So if she's been Johnny on the spot with her diet, then the absorption issue is not an issue. So what's the next most common thing? Well, the next most common thing is she's not taking enough. Well, she just cut down on the glucogel. So that's the first thing, the first place that I would go. And by the way, right, our recommendations, 1 glucogel per 10 pounds of body weight per day, right, and 1 liquid ounce of the calcium per 100 pounds of body weight per day. Those are just kind of like generic starting points. We got to get into the ballpark somewhere. There are going to be variations on that theme for everybody. So more is always better here. And what I would recommend you give your mom is just tell her to up the ante with the glucogel for 4 days and see if that doesn't take the edge off. So do that over the weekend and then call me back on Monday with an update. That's the first place I would go, Mark. Just give her more glucogel. You know what? Have her take 4 more glucogel a day than what she's doing right now. So go back to the original 2 and then take 2 more a day through the weekend. Call me back with a report. I really like to keep my fingers on this pulse. Keep up the good job, Mark. I mean, we're getting there, right? 1 month at a time. We're making progress.